Opening Day, Part 2. The sequel, the return. Are you jacked? Are you excited? Are you pumped? Are you psyched? Whatever word you use to express your emphatic nature for baseball, I want to hear it. This is RotoFanatic.com's quality start for July 24th, 2020. We got 14 matchups, and that is 28 teams for those of you keeping score at home. Let's dive into the action. Find out who did well last night in 2 games, though one was limited by rain. Secret. It's a secret. Kike Hernandez did good. So come with me. Let's dive into RotoFanatic.com's quality start for July 24th. Here we go.
Because it's Friday.
Oh, Smokey, you always get it right. It's definitely Friday. I don't have a job, but there is a lot to do. So let's get into it. Freddy Freeman is going to be ready for opening day. He should be in the lineup, probably in the third hole, going against Jacob deGrom and the New York Mets at Citi Field. Yes, you heard that correctly. Freddy has shaken off his 104-degree fever. And for those of you who are kicking yourself at this moment because you didn't draft Freeman as the first baseman, that's okay. These things happen. Fantasy baseball is a complicated game. But he's got decent numbers against deGrom, so maybe he'll contribute today, which will be just another reason for you to be upset.
The King of the North!
With the season underway, this is a new feature on Quality Start. Who was the King of the North for last night's games? And that's a pretty easy answer. Why, it's Kike Hernandez, of course. Including this home run to left field, he also had 5 RBI while going 4 for 5. He had a monster night, and with his multi-positional offering, depending on your fantasy league, you might want to pick him up right now, or at least keep an eye on him. There was also a magical balloon that just came down from the heavens and landed in Chavez Ravine. Isn't that weird? But it was the hot topic all night. That balloon had a better night than the Giants did, that's for sure, as the Dodgers rolled 8-1. And I'm sure you've heard, but MLB just decided to change the postseason right before the season kicked off last night. The Players Association agreed to it, and now there are 16 teams instead of 10 playoff teams. No one-game wild card, a 3-game series where the home team hosts all 3 games. Clayton Kershaw shocked the baseball world when he went on the IL right before game time last night, and Dustin May came in to take his place. Many fantasy owners were stunned, and they were left saying,
This is not really, this is not really happening.
Juan Soto tested positive for COVID-19 and missed the game versus the Yankees yesterday, but then it came out that he tested negative twice with 2 rapid test results last night. It's not unusual for these tests to be inconclusive, so keep an eye out for these positive tests when they come out. And yesterday, we reported that Marcus Stroman would be out for a while with a calf tear, but now, according to his own tweet, he says he's feeling much better and that this is not that big a deal. From the sounds of it, it appears that Marcus Stroman will be back sooner than later. He can't run, so that's the only thing holding him back, and he wants to be himself completely on the field.
And now it's time for baseball stuff. Random tidbits of information about baseball. Who doesn't love baseball stuff? I know I do. And you do too, don't you? You coy son of a gun, Dad. Don't play games with me. I know the real story. I know you love baseball. That's why you're watching this video right now. And you're looking at this guy who is so cheesy, but yet genuine. I really do love the game. And that's why we're going to talk about baseball stuff now.
Take a look at it in all its glory. 14 games. Boy, I've been waiting so long to see this nearly full schedule. I'm sure you have too. So let's take a look at some of the possibilities for today. Remember, our park factors are fantastic. Crosby Spencer created the whole thing, and we love having him on our team. And you'll love it too because his information will help you win, especially if you're doing DFS. A real advantage to have these park factors in your back pocket. The Tigers will be going to Great American Ballpark today to take on the Reds. And as you can see, a lot of power available for hitters at Great American Ballpark. Miguel Cabrera is 37 years old, yet he still might have some gas in the tank. And today he's going against Sonny Gray. He has pretty decent numbers against Gray, though in a limited sample. When you throw in the ballpark factors we just mentioned and his efforts against Sonny Gray, you might have a buy low opportunity here with Miguel Cabrera. Down at Tropicana Field, Hyunjin Ryu will be making his debut for the Blue Jays, the opening day starter, the big free agent signing after a 4-year, $99 million deal. Being that he was a Dodger in the National League for the last few years, he hasn't faced a lot of the current Rays hitters. But the ones he has faced, he's got pretty good results against. So you could be optimistic about using him today on the road, which is where the Blue Jays always are. I know Joe Musgrove's getting a lot of love as a sleeper SP, but maybe you want to pump the brakes at least for his first start, because at Busch Stadium, he's had a hell of a time. The numbers speak for themselves. A career 8.64 ERA in St. Louis. That's no good for anybody. So maybe wait till he comes back to PNC before you insert him in your starting lineup. Jose Barrios will be in Chicago to take on the White Sox. The Pale Hose are a team that he loves to play against, even though he has a higher ERA on the road, which is common for most starting pitchers. He especially loves to own Tim Anderson, 4 for 24 against Barrios with a 375 OPS. It's a small sample, but still, that's enough to give you an edge. If you're getting involved in DFS today, this is a great play for a starting pitcher. And if you own Barrios, or you don't, you might want to think about making a trade for him. Because in this short season, he's going to play the White Sox a fair amount of times, and that's good news for you. Looking at the Diamondbacks matchup today against the Padres, you see that Chris Paddock is starting. Despite Petco Park's reputation, it's actually a pretty solid park for right-handed hitters to pull the ball over the wall. The problem is that Marte will be batting from the left side against Paddock. Yet, he still has numbers that are interesting, tantalizing at the very least. Ross Stripling gets the call in Game 2 for the LA Dodgers against the San Francisco Giants after their 8-1 victory last night. He was thrown around a lot from starting and relieving last year, but when he got the chance to start, he looked pretty promising. With a very weak Giants lineup, Stripling is a strong play for today. And in my opinion, this may be the best pitching matchup of the day. Andrew Heaney and Frankie Montas going head-to-head in Oakland, which is absolutely the worst stadium in baseball, worse than the Tropicana Field. The Oakland Coliseum is truly a dump, and I'm not ashamed to admit it at all. If you're looking for another reason why this game will be a pitcher's duel, just take a look at that. The massive foul territory at the Coliseum is a huge advantage for pitchers. It's just a place where the ball doesn't fly out. However, it is summertime. Remember, it's not April or March. We are in July. Do take note of that. But this is still overwhelmingly a pitcher's park.
And now it is time for my favorite part of the Quality Start show. This day in fantasy history. We've seen all kinds of random acts of baseball awesomeness over the last 2 weeks of doing Quality Start. There are so many legendary fantasy days in the history of fantasy baseball. It's not just about this day in baseball. It's about this day in fantasy baseball history. So we can go back and remember who helped us win championship after championship. The daily grind of baseball is long and hard when we have a full 162-game season. So it's important to cherish those moments where a player goes 5 for 5. Willie Harris went 6 for 6 for the Atlanta Braves. That was amazing. We covered that recently. So let's find out today who made themselves special and had a legendary day in fantasy baseball for July 24th, 2020.
In 2009, on this day, after he was traded by the Athletics to the Cardinals for Brett Wallace, Clayton Mortensen, and Shane Peterson, remember that legendary deal? He collected 4 hits, he drove in a run, and he stole a base in his debut with the Cards. This was a lovely fantasy day for Matt Holliday, who was a very durable and reliable fantasy player. In 1999, on this date, Chili Davis of the Yankees had himself a day. The Bronx Bomber, the veteran, went 5 for 6. He had 6 RBI in a late Saturday afternoon contest played in the Bronx. Chili Davis definitely helped you if you had him July 24th, 1999. And on that exact same day, no, not this date in history, but that literal day in 1999, Trot Nixon was part of a Red Sox barrage of 7 home runs, one shy of the club record, routing Detroit 11-4. Trot contributed to the offensive onslaught with 3 home runs and 5 RBI. That is a legendary fantasy day without a doubt.